So, Entuity V22.0 has just dropped, and let me tell you, it is packed with some killer updates designed to tackle the biggest challenges in IT management. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly how this new version boosts your security, expands what you can see, and just makes your day-to-day work a whole lot smarter.
You know, if you're in IT, this is probably the thing that keeps you up at night, right? I mean, your world is this crazy mix of on-prem, cloud, and hybrid systems, and just keeping tabs on performance, let alone security, it can feel like you're trying to juggle water.
And that's exactly the problem Entuity V22.0 is built to solve. This whole release is really built around three key ideas, giving you much deeper visibility, way stronger security, and honestly, just smarter, more efficient management.
Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to kick things off with security, then jump into the expanded monitoring capabilities, and finish up with some really smart management features. Then we'll tie it all together. Sound good? Let's dive in.
All right, first up, let's talk security. Because V22.0 has some really powerful new features that are all about shifting your security game from being reactive, putting out fires, to being proactive. It's about finding and fixing issues before they blow up into real problems.
Okay, so the headline feature here is the new automated vulnerability monitoring. This is a big one. What this means is Entuity is now constantly checking all your managed gear against the National Vulnerability Database, or NVD. This is the official, super comprehensive list of known security risks maintained by Nest, so you're getting a direct pipeline to identifying threats on your network.
So, you might be wondering, how does this actually work under the hood? Well, it's a pretty straightforward four-step process. First, Entuity syncs up with that NIST database. Then, it goes through and tags each of your devices with what's basically a unique digital fingerprint. That's called a CPE. Next, it compares that fingerprint against the giant list of known vulnerabilities, or CVEs. And if it finds a match, bam, it automatically opens an incident telling you exactly which device is at risk.
But here's where things get really smart, especially if you're managing a lot of Windows machines. See, the NIST database is great, but it tells you every single possible vulnerability for a platform, which can get, well, a little noisy. So to cut through that noise, Entuity also checks the Microsoft Security Response Center database. Why? Because that database knows exactly which patches fix which problems. This is huge. It means Entuity can see if you've already installed a hotfix and will only bug you about threats that are actually real and unpatched in your specific environment. It's all about getting a clear signal, not just more noise.
And this quote from John Diamond, one of the architects, really nails the whole philosophy here. It's not about drowning you in a sea of red alerts. It's about giving you laser-focused, actionable intel so you can spend your time on the risks that actually matter to your business.
Okay, the other huge security upgrade is SSL certificate monitoring. And look, we've all either heard the horror stories or, let's be honest, lived through them, where a critical service just falls over because someone, somewhere, forgot to renew a certificate. Well, this feature is designed to make that whole nightmare a thing of the past.
The idea here is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You just feed Entuity a list of your important URLs, and that's it. It takes over from there. You'll get automated alerts way ahead of time. By default, you get a warning at 60 days out and a critical alert at 30 days. And of course, these thresholds are totally customizable, so you can set them to whatever you need to make sure you have plenty of time to get those certs renewed and avoid any downtime. All right, let's switch gears. Next up is our second big theme, expanding your monitoring horizon. This part of V22.0 is all about finally delivering on that promise of a true single pane of glass view across your entire, messy, wonderful hybrid infrastructure.
And the big story here is a massive upgrade to how Entuity handles AWS and Azure cloud monitoring. Basically, we're bringing that same deep, granular visibility that you're used to for your on-prem stuff directly into your public cloud servers. It's a game changer.
So what does that actually mean for you on a daily basis? It means you can finally track those critical cloud server metrics like memory utilization and disk I/O, not just basic CPU. And this is the most important part. You can set performance thresholds on any of these metrics, so you'll get those proactive alerts for your cloud instances just like you would for a physical server sitting in your data center.
And hey, it's not just about the cloud. V22.0 also massively expands the out-of-the-box support for a much wider range of physical server and storage hardware.
As you can see, we've added native support for pretty much all the major players you'd expect. On the server side, you've got Cisco UCS, Dell, HP, IBM, the list goes on. And for storage, we're talking Dell EMC, NetApp, Pure Storage, and more.
What this really means is you can get that deep visibility into your entire physical setup, all from one place without having to spend weeks on custom configurations.
Okay, for our final section, let's talk about how V22.0 makes your day-to-day management smarter and more efficient. These are those quality of life updates, the ones that just streamline your workflows and genuinely save you time every single day. A perfect example of this is the new and improved firmware repository. Now, I know what you're thinking. Folders? That's the feature? But seriously, anyone who has scrolled through a flat list of 50 different firmware images knows how painful that is. Now you can organize everything logically, by vendor, by model, whatever makes sense to you. This means finding the right image is way faster and, more importantly, it helps you avoid that stomach-dropping moment when you realize you've deployed the wrong one. It's a huge safety net.
Policy violation tracking also gets a massive upgrade. Before, you could really only see what was happening right now, the active violations. But with V22.0, there's a brand new policy history screen that gives you a centralized view of all violations, and it keeps that history for a full year. Honestly, this is a game changer for anyone doing long-term compliance reporting or trying to spot those nagging recurring problems on the network.
Okay, now this next one, this is a really critical fix for anyone who uses maintenance windows. You know the exact scenario I'm talking about, right? An issue pops up during a maintenance window. The window ends, but the problem is still there. And you get crickets. No alert, it's a blind spot. Well, in V22.0, that is fixed. If an issue is still ongoing when that maintenance window closes, Entuity automatically raises an incident. No more silent failures, no more hidden problems.
So let's bring it all home. When you look at the V22.0 advantage, it really boils down to these three key areas. First, you've got way stronger security, thanks to that proactive vulnerability scanning and the certificate monitoring. Second, you get truly expanded visibility, with deep insights into your cloud and your physical gear, all in one tool. And third, you get smarter management, with all these thoughtful enhancements that just make your daily grind a whole lot easier.
And all of that leads me to one final, simple question for you. Does the monitoring tool you're using right now give you this level of proactive security, this kind of deep visibility, and this much intelligent control, all from a single place? Because Entuity V22.0 does. Thanks for tuning in,